Many pilgrimages are made. Most are geographic. Some incorporate an interpersonal aspect. For Patrick Buckley, it consisted of both. His journey to Oregon from Massachusetts began as a love affair with a woman, a desire to help animals, and a passion for playing music. Karl-Nathan's interest in the organic evolution of self and the ability to transform thought into action is his passion. Join him now and take an interpersonal trip as he explores what it takes to become a musician and manifest your dreams into reality. Upon arriving at Patrick's residence in southeast Portland, just off Southeast Hawthorne Street, while walking to, I took note of the two-story brick U-shaped building and courtyard, complete with manicured lawn, large trees and shrubs casting shade from the evening light, because you don't want to schedule an interview with a musician before 5 p.m.
What's up, man?
Not too much.
How you been?
Great to see you.
You too. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Talking suspicion, you're gonna get an exhibition. You wanna find out what it's all about. Oh, after midnight, we're gonna shake your tambourine. After midnight, it's all gonna be peaches and cream. We're talking suspicion, you're gonna give an exhibition. We're gonna find out what it's all about. After midnight, we're gonna let it all hang down. You need like 3 people in the background going, after midnight, after midnight.
While I prepared, Patrick made us tea. In his 2-story wooden floor townhouse complete with guitars, violin, a ukulele, and instruments in all corners. With sheet music on the coffee table, we sat down with our cups of steamin' tea.
I'm Pat Buckley and play with the Pagan jug band. Bluegrass, zydeco, kind of mix of folk and blues and stuff like that.
Patrick Buckley and I met through a coworker when I moved to Portland in 1996. She had this party every week on Tuesdays, and I remember listening to them play at the party and thinking, wow, what a distinct sound they have. Growing up as a teenager in the late 1960s had a profound effect on most young people, and depending on whom you talk to about it, those memories would vary a great deal.
Patrick, so when you were growing up, you had a lot of influences, I'm sure, like all of us did, but was there a solidifying moment when you knew that this was for you, this type of life?
Well, the big moment for me was seeing the movie Help by the Beatles. When I saw the Beatles, I was like, okay, there's an alternative lifestyle and music that is available out there, you know, to live a different kind of life. And that was in like '65, and I was like 10. And so it just had a great effect on me. And I always wanted to be a musician from that point on. Just, you know, learned to play and
Patrick's passion for music and his empathetic nature led him to follow Catherine.
Oh, I came out to Oregon 20 years ago to work on a campaign to stop hunting bears and cougars. I had met this girl who was on her way out here, and she was an animal rights activist, and I was too. And I had a band back there at the time, but I just said, you know, I fell madly in love with this woman, and she was on her way to come out to work on the campaign, so I said, can I come with you? And then, I mean, we had fallen in love like within a few weeks. It was kind of crazy, and I found myself on my way to Oregon.
You started playing around town and getting, what, open mics and gigs and your own band together, or?
When I first got to Portland, Catherine had known this guy from her college days in Colorado, and we met him at a show, and he was a musician, this guy Mick Chegwidden, who now lives in Nashville and plays with some Nashville bands. But Mick was a mandolin guitar player, and he just started playing mandolin. And he had made a friend out here. He had only been out here for a few weeks, and he had made another friend who was a banjo player and a bass player, Chris Misko. And so within 2 weeks, I had met them, and we hit it off. And I said, hey, you know, let's play some music together. And we formed the band right off the bat. One night we were at a show out here, and talking about it, and the next day we were practicing songs and making plans to get some gigs.
And I'm curious, you know, how did you develop your style, and where did you come up with the confidence and the will and the ability to take your ideas and write them down and put music to them and then essentially broadcast that.
Well,
where's the courage come from?
As far as getting up in front of people and getting that courage, I was brought up in a political family. My dad was always running for office. He was the mayor of a city back east for 22 years. And so I was used to being in front of large groups of people and speaking, because myself and my three brothers, we sometimes would, you know, be asked to introduce him at a political event. So I was used to the being in front of people. And then, I mean, still, even with that, when I first started playing music, I was still terrified at first. It took a little while to get over. And then once I had been up on stage a few times, then it just became easier and easier. But as far as writing music and putting those, you know, your words to music and playing your own stuff, your own songs out there in front of people, that's like bearing your soul. And that's another thing that it takes a little while. I mean, I think, you know, once you've done it a few times and get through it, and then you get a good response, then it's like addicting. You just want to keep doing it.
I can't imagine it goes well every single time when you're writing a new song and you're trying to get it out there, and you know, people may not see your side of it, or maybe the idea isn't articulated. Is that ever the case?
Oh, I mean, that's the case. Yeah. You know, you find that, you know, sometimes you'll write a song and you think it's great, and then you play it out and you don't get much of a response, and I sort of, that's a way I gauge sometimes whether the song has something, you know, that's attractive to people.
Patrick grew up outside of Boston, Massachusetts, and made his way to Portland, Oregon, and sought out this musical style of communication. He has for more than a decade performed in and around Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon.
Well, I want 6 crap shooters for my power bands. I want a chorus girl to sing me a song. But a jazz band right there on a hearse wagon, man, raising hell as a rolling along. Well, bring out them rubber tire carriages. Bring out them old town hats. Oh, there's 12 men that going to the graveyard, and I just let them coming back. Yeah, I said, well, there's 12 men that going to the graveyard, and just 11 men coming back.